every day I was taking inventory of my values, the more I realized that I had aligned with different values than the job that I had, and that I wanted to create something that was completely aligned with my personal experiential giving and receiving values.
I'm Amy Jo Martin. Welcome to the Why Not Now show. You know that thing you've been thinking about doing? Yeah, that one. Why not now? Have you ever actually taken the time to ask yourself, what's stopping me? Let's talk it through. This is your chance to give that idea the attention it deserves and take action. Each episode, I have a chat with a fascinating person, from entrepreneurs to athletes, celebrities, my parents, rocket scientists, and all walks of life. We talk through a critical time when they've asked themselves, why not now? We dissect that day or even that moment, step by step.
Just let go.
We have David Meltzer on the show today. Now, there are a lot of things I can say about him. We could start rattling off accolades, but the thing that I really appreciate the most is that David has built up a huge portfolio, lost it all, and then rebuilt again, but a little differently, of course, the second time around. And we talk about this. Not just a small portfolio, but a portfolio worth more than $100 million. David's motto is make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. You can't really argue with that. That's exactly what he's done and what he continues to do. David is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing, and he used to serve as the CEO of the renowned Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. Now, over the course of David's life, his mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. So this simple yet powerful mission has led him on an incredible journey, and that is to provide one thing: value. He definitely delivers during this conversation. You will get a lot of value. You know I'm all about tangible, tactical things that can be implemented immediately in order to create change, to create results. That's exactly what David's about. He shares in this combo a variety of different things that you can do today to start changing your day. Without further ado, here is my wide-ranging conversation with the legend David Meltzer. Being able to design my own day and do it in the most efficient way is a non-negotiable for me. I'm a bit of a time management nerd, so when I find something that allows me to be more efficient and effective to get the most out of my day, I want to share it with everyone. So here's the scoop. I have a new tool in my productivity tool belt, and it's called Monday.com. My team and I have never felt more organized professionally and personally. And my to-do list is no longer the boss of me. I feel more in control because every project, initiative, date, and task is captured and organized in one place. And my team is in the loop and involved every step of the way. We are in lockstep. Monday.com is like having a brand new operating system. Everything has its own home, deadline. You can see the team members associated with the tasks, and it's color coordinated, so you can easily navigate your own task list. We all have multifaceted jobs, businesses, and lives. With Monday, you're able to keep all of these components organized in their own compartments, but you're also one click away from seeing the big picture and how they all integrate together. Creating systems and procedures within your day and business saves a lot of time. For example, my team and I have a dedicated Monday.com board for this very podcast. Did you know that there are 28 steps involved in getting one podcast ready for air? It's the same exact process every single time. And it's a system that we have put into place. So we know the various key steps are assigned to certain people, and we've mapped out the entire process from start to finish within this one board. This allows us to be streamlined. It cuts back on the amount of emails exchanged as well as the amount of meetings needed. One feature I love is that my social media content calendar is built inside of Monday.com. I finally have one that I actually use, I like, and it's embedded into my overall calendar as well. Another feature we use every single day is the Google Doc integration. You know I love a good spreadsheet. I can pull them into Monday.com and edit them right there versus having 97 tabs open on my computer, which is extremely distracting and inefficient. If how we spend our days is how we spend our lives, then I can't think of anything more important than using the time in our days wisely. Head to hey.monday.com/Amy Jo Martin to start your free trial today. That's hey.monday.com/Amy Jo Martin. David, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me. And in the spirit of why not now, let's hop right in. Can you tell me about a time when you had a big decision to make and you had to ask yourself the ultimate question, why not now? We'll dissect that day, that minute, that hour, season, and understand how you got from idea to action.
You know, for me, it was starting my own business, leaving Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment. So I was the CEO of the most notable sports agency in the world, and deciding to leave and build my own marketing and media company from that was a why not now moment. And it was a great moment in my life and taught me a valuable lesson, the 3 steps that I believe people should take in the why not moments as well.
And yes, I'd love to talk about those steps and also just that day. Was it truly a moment? Or I imagine usually it's been brewing for a little while, but do you remember the conversation?
Yeah, for me, you know, the first conversation was with my wife because we had gone through before a really bad financial crisis, one of our own in 2008, which had hit us really hard. And here it was now just at the tail end of 2009. And I had a great secure job with a huge brand. And, you know, that conversation with my wife was about what I could be. And I did specifically talk about one of those 3 things, which is to me the desire that I must be what I can be, that I, you know, am not defined by some title or a job, company, or what I always say, that I wasn't tied to everyone telling me, oh my God, that's the greatest job in the world. I want to be Jerry Maguire. And then the second issue was what we had. So that's the G in the ego. You know, what do we get? And I had a nice stable salary. I had a huge opportunity and access, and I was going to put all that on the line. And the third thing in the conversation was absolutely what other people would think. Because one of the other decisions was I was partnering with another partner of Lee's. So what would other people think that Warren Moon, the Hall of Fame and quarterback, and I would go ahead and start this venture without Lee? What would other people think? And so those were the 3 things that I really looked at: was employment status, what I was going to get, and what other people would think. And yet my decision was, why not now?
Amazing. I love that with the ego. That ego. So many lessons tied up into it. And to make it an acronym like that so when you mentioned your previous, you know, the financial crisis just in general, 2008, look at that. You had a pretty big shift. I mean, kind of going back, we're talking huge. And this was on the other side of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I went through a quantum shift in my values in 2006 that resulted when I lost over $100 million. So you don't lose that overnight. But it started in about 2006. My transition in the financial side of it, reared its ugly head. I actually filed bankruptcy in the beginning of 2009. So here I was by the end of 2009, right outside of that, wanting to start my own venture.
I always talk about some of my biggest lessons. I've realized it's almost always an inside job. So what changed from the inside out between then and now, but really even to get to that bridge to, hey, I'm gonna go start my own thing and take this comfy. Here you had all this security built back up in that employment status. So what are the biggest shifts? I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, for me, it was understanding and taking inventory of my values. It was a practice that before I lost everything, like I said, I'm one of the few people that bottom out before I lost all my money. I bottomed out value wise. I bottomed out emotionally. And so I started in 2006, before I lost everything, taking inventory of my values and telling myself that I wasn't going to be a hypocrite, that I was going to be okay telling people I changed my mind. I was going to be okay telling people that I didn't know what I don't know. That, one of the things of having capabilities, and I see this a lot with athletes, celebrities, and entertainers, billionaires, millionaires, and entrepreneurs, is that just because you're really good at throwing a football doesn't mean you know everything. And there's this transitional belief that I'm great at one thing, maybe the world's best at it. And therefore, I know everything about and we see this so much. And that lesson in 2006 allowed me to start taking inventory of my values, not being afraid of being a hypocrite. So as 2009 started to evolve and every day I was taking inventory of my values, the more I realized that I had aligned with different values than the job that I had, and that I wanted to create something that was completely aligned with my personal experiential giving and receiving values.
As you look back at that time, and I went through a pretty humbling season and had a lot of inside-outside reconciling to do at one point, and sat there. I was at the JFK airport and realized I was an emotionally and physically bankrupt millionaire and in my 30s, and one of the worst days of my life. That chasing and grasping and grinding on the outside, extrinsic, validation, rewards, I kept winding up empty as much as I would get down that road. We see so much of that. I mean, just even the romanticism around entrepreneurship and, hey, make all this money and go do your own thing, but it's never really that simple. You coach some of the biggest, business people in the world. How do you get them to start on that inside? Or do you? Like, where do you get them to start that reconciling process if they're in that spot?
Well, number one, I think letting them know that they can't find outside of themselves anything that isn't inside. And so we have to shift the paradigm of where that tenacious focus that they have to be successful can be re-engineered or placed. And so one of the first things is to look inside. And so looking inside, we look at what we do have control of. And that control is very prominent in a lot of successful billionaires, millionaires, chairmen, executives that I coach, but it's also there in the startup people that I help and the junior achievement kids that I help. And that, when you can explain, hey, this control freak thing that you have as an entrepreneur, you want to be in control of everything, is okay as long as you take control of what you do have control of. So number one, why don't you use all that controlling energy to take control of your mindset, the most critical of all. And so I focus them inside to their mindset. Second would be and the second one's the most hard, or the hardest, I would say. It's their heart set. A lot of these people don't allow themselves to reconcile their feelings, that they have control of their feelings. And the practice of ending fear, or primal fear, and secondary fear are a huge practice of mine within the context of taking control of how we feel. I call it mindset and heart set. And then the third is the easiest, which most entrepreneurs, executives, athletes, entertainers, billionaires that I work with, they have a good control over what they think, say, do, and believe. They're natural manifestors. They in order to reach high levels of success and self-actualization, they have the conscious subconscious continuum under control, where the one area that I can help them, the conscious unconscious side of really learning that it's okay that everyone has different potentials and that we all have different personality traits we inherited, characteristics that we've inherited. We have different obsessions that we inherited, addictions that we've inherited. And a lot of those quantum memories that we have, a lot of the unconscious competencies that are there can be used as a very powerful, positive tool. I know that my characteristics, obsessions, and addictions applied to business are exceptional in performing productivity, accessibility, and you have to keep it into check with gratitude. But those are the three things that I think if we could have more control of, more focus of, shifting the paradigm inside instead of outside, we get a lot more productivity and happiness in what we're doing.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, everyone, I've got an announcement. As of today, we are officially enrolling for the 2021 Renegade Accelerator program, formerly called the Renegade Brand Bootcamp. Okay, so who is this program for? What is it? The Renegade Accelerator is for driven female leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs ready to massively increase their impact and income. The program is for like-minded, like-hearted women all over the globe. The experience is intimate, live, real-time, virtual, and it's led by me. Our curriculum is equal parts education, practical education, collaboration, and accountability. In the accelerator, you'll learn directly from me, and I share everything I've learned over the past 20 years in business. We meet in real time to learn, discuss, and grow together. This is high touch. I'll teach you a variety of things, from personal branding to the business side of public speaking, podcasting, publishing, marketing partnerships, how to productize your intellectual property, and we even talk about investing. I teach you all about the different types of investing in order to build your personal wealth. You will also learn the Renegade mentality, which is a key ingredient in your success to generate real results. This program is the career love of my life because I get to curate a mosaic of driven, like-minded, like-hearted women who come together to lift each other and themselves up to the next level. After the Renegade Accelerator, you become a member of my top-level alumni community. This group of unmatched women who are making a positive impact is personally curated by me. The relationship building and networking opportunities are endless, and this collective of real, valuable connections will be something that you have forever. If you're at the point where you are ready to take action and accelerate, head to renegadeaccelerator.com. You can sign up for more information where I will guide you in determining if the program and the timing is right for you. If not you, then who? And if not now, then when? Why not now? Head to renegadeaccelerator.com. It's such an interesting dynamic in terms of if we were to look at a spectrum, one side being that hustle, chase, grind, 24/7, sleep when you die, and data outside black and white kind of mentality. And then the other side, let's just say it's meditate, allow, drink kombucha, do yoga, and surrender, right? So I love a good old pendulum swing, and I've done both. Neither are a great look for me. But I also don't want to water down to be like a 5, because I think that intensity and that, I guess you'd say renegade is, I just think about you having these conversations with, CEOs and chairmen, chairwomen who are used to the one side. Do you see there's a big cultural shift happening where we can get both? Or is that just more of, is that kind of a false narrative that?
Not at all. In fact, you're talking about exactly the solution that we have to look at it. The problem is people, they look at it in that either or percentage realm, and it's not. When you take time itself and look at it as an activity, right? It's the platform in which you can have activity, and there's activity you get paid for and activity you don't get paid for. But more importantly, when we understand Einstein's rule of 72 or compound interest, consistent, persistent behavior, what happens is if I can take someone and re-engineer the way they're evaluating this blend, because you're talking about someone that literally is the exact person you're talking about. When I was approached to meditate, I literally told the lady, she was a guru from India. She said that, that she could teach me to raise my awareness through theta meditation, my vibration. You could only be aware of whatever it's equal to or less than you. And I literally looked at her and said, are you kidding me? I was born with nothing. I said, I am a multimillionaire. I did not get it by sitting high on my mom's couch, dreaming about what I wanted. I can make my life happen. I don't need any of this. And then she said to me, oh, that's too bad, because I could teach you, when to buy or sell. And that's how I got conned into meditation. The reason I say that is, to me, I teach 2 minutes is worth a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. So it isn't 50%, it's 100% into kombucha, yoga, 100%. It's just lower the bar and do it less time, but do it every day. And what you'll find is you get an exponential compound interest. Mm-hmm. The rule of 72 of Einstein applies at a higher percentage, meaning that it doubles and aggregates upon itself or compounds on itself at a quicker manner. And if you do that, you have plenty of time to be the 100%, woo-woo, spiritual, transformational leader that you are. And also, excuse my language, a ball-busting leader that I am as well. And a very, my motto is make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. It's not help a lot of people, make a lot of money, and have a lot of fun for a reason, right? I'm all about making a shitload of money. And I do it because I know money does not buy happiness. People are like, what do you mean it doesn't buy happiness? You're all about money. Yeah, because it allows me to shop. And if I shop for the right things, like community centers in Africa and helping kids in junior achievement and all the things that I do in the communities, local, national, and worldwide, then I'm happy, but I need money to do that.
Yeah. So you can't manifest that.
Yeah, I'm a blend. I'm a reconciliation, and I use time as to my benefit. Compound interest in Einstein, that all I need is 2 minutes a day of everything, including my mom. Like, I joke around, but I spend a minute a day with my mom, change my relationship with my mom, take it out of a professional context. All I do is call my mom and tell her 4 things, and my relationship is gold. 1, that I'm happy. 2, that I'm healthy. 3, that I love her. And 4, that I appreciate her, meaning she adds value to my life. Minimum of a minute a day, 7 minutes a week has saved me 7 hours on a weekend of her calling and saying, can you fix my screen door? And me saying, I'll pay someone to fix your screen. No, you have to come and do it, because she wanted me to prove 4 things: that I was happy, healthy, loved, and appreciated her. Now I just go ahead and tell her for the minute, and I get the exponential compound interest, in my relationship at 52 has never been better with my mom.
Amazing. That consistency it compounds over time. And so when you hear people talk about intuition, right? So if you would have asked me, gosh, I was in the middle of my first company and I just had zero ability to hear that internal voice, like total noise cancelers on, right? Like it was screaming and signs, and I was just like, I'm going to make this shit happen. If you would have asked me that 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have said, should we get out of Magic 8 Ball? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But now I realize actually there's this compass thing inside, and it's real data and science, and it's very informative. And I heard you use the term woo-woo. Do you think there's a problem with the language and the connotation? Because people like me in the past, if you would have said woo-woo to me, I would have been out, right? I'd be like, I'm out of here. Sorry, but I don't have time for the tarot cards. That being said, now I totally have tarot cards, but just for fun. But why not? But what's the deal? Can we just globally shift some of these words, because they're not helping us?
No, it's so funny because are bringing up some of the key issues that I'd love to speak about, the conflicts that exist between these two realms of the pragmatic world and the spiritual world, and the blend between monetary and humanitarian. And all these things are all within the context of the way that we describe things. I would say that my popularity and brand has grown because I am able to articulate the quantitative value of what I've learned at a superior level. Not that I've learned it better than anyone, not that I understand anything new. Most of the things that I teach were written in Sanskrit. If you look back at the 12 basic laws of Sanskrit, it's basically what I teach, but those are very confusing. And more importantly, what we're looking at has to deal with understanding the language that we use and the words that we use. So let me give you another one that killed me: manifestation, right? Why do we use that word? Why not just say, let me teach you to get what you want?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I thought manifest action. I thought this is a great new word. I just came up with it. And then I Googled it and it's so not new. Someone wrote a book about it, but yeah.
But like woo woo. Now intuition's interesting because I have really guided myself to look at things as muscles. So, I look at the muscle of being able to be consistent, the muscle of the spirituality. Bob Proctor, one of my mentors, taught me an exercise to build that muscle. So if you don't believe in intuition, practice this and you're going to see where that muscle lies. I think refocusing is also a muscle, by the way, a very important one to understand how to refocus, not focus. And then for me, to that measure, when I go to an airplane, I stare at the crack in the seats in front of me. And I wait and see if I can get the guy to get uncomfortable, like he feels me. And then if I get really good as I practice intuition, they'll start kind of leaning. And then if you get really good, they'll actually look through the chairs at you because you've used your intuition as a muscle to connect. And that compass, you call it, is a muscle to me. And so if I think that refocusing or intuition or vibration or frequency, like as a muscle, because I have an athletic background, I think about working out every day and resting it as well, just like a muscle, right? You could run 100 miles in one day, but you're not going to do it every day. You need to rest. And I think sleep itself, to me, is an exercise. I tell people my tomorrow starts today at 9 p.m. and I have an 8-hour workout every night. And the warm up to my workout is called the unwinding routine. That's how I warm up to go to bed, by unwinding. And so many people destroy a critical part of their growth and expansion because they don't see sleep or any of these paradigms in the same way. And we're using the wrong language. We're getting resistance only because of the language. And if you get effective at articulating what you mean, people will be like, oh yeah, I want that. But literally, you might have just talked about, literally quantum mechanics of, a different level. But if you've explained it at a third grade level of, look, let's make a plan and get what we want. This is how we do it. And you basically explain Think and Grow Rich in third grader terms.
There you go. There you go. Oh, this is good. Okay. So let's talk about time. So, and I think about Einstein time, and I think about just our relationship with time. What are some of your biggest lessons around time and just productivity? Whether you want to get granular of things that you actually do, and we've talked about some of them, I think, indirectly, or just kind of more macro. But how would you describe your relationship with time?
Well, first, I wish I had 3 hours. I only usually give 20 minutes to an interview, but you absolutely are nailing all my favorite questions. So I just want to tell you,
Good.
Oh my God, I don't know who does your research or it's just intuition, but so time is a man-made construct. I think it's one of the most powerful things that you need to study. You can have productivity. How much you can provide is indicated at this pragmatic level by time. Accessibility, how accessible am I to others, dictated by time. Accessibility in the duality of how am I accessing what I want, and then also gratitude or truth of within the context of time of being able to find the light, the love, and the lessons in what I do. In other words, the key time variable to me is I'm happy where I'm at. I'm at the right place at the perfect time. I'm going to angle towards what I think I want. Notice the radical humility. I think I want this today. I'm going to take inventory every day to guide and angle me towards what I think I want. But here's where time really comes into, and it blew my mind when I came up with this. I have faith that I'm going to end up somewhere better, which, believe it or not, is the construct of time. To believe that something's going to be better takes a construct of time because it's faith. And in order to determine your faith, I make quantitative decisions in a blend of a pragmatic money-making decision with time, resources, money, employees, taxes. I'm well educated and have plenty of help as well to figure out pragmatically what makes sense on paper or with a calculator. But before I make that decision based off of that pragmatic level of thinking, utilizing my intuition and faith and time, I extract time from the decision. And I say to myself, would I buy this beach house if I was going to live forever? If I had billions of lifetimes, would I buy? Once you take time out of the equation, you now have a faithful decision. The economics may or may not be even involved, but by extracting time, you illuminate faith of where your faith is. So if you can take time out of your decision-making process, in a variety of other ways, obviously, when you have productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, it changes your life. But to me, that was the earth-shattering revelation that I've had over the last decade, that I utilize time, bend time, play with time, don't look backwards, right? The funniest thing about me too, I don't believe in a rear view mirror, but I also study history. And my wife's like, you don't believe in the past, but why do you study history? Because I want to learn human nature, and human nature never changes. So I don't define myself by my past. I forgive myself for my past. I forgive other people for their past. And I'm sure we all are better off for it. But the interesting thing is I study time and in history because I want to learn about human nature. And the more I can gear in, because human nature never changes, to how human nature works within the context of time, I now can maximize my experience here on Earth.
This is so fun. It's so cool. It really is. And it's there's a woman, her name is Florence Scovel Shinn, and she was a metaphysicist in the 20s. And she wrote a book, which is kind of funny. First of all, female in the 20s doing that. Like, just not funny, but very fascinating. And I think about, it's almost Serenity Prayer-ish. Control what you can, let go of what you can't, and know the difference between the two, right? But she has this saying where she would, one of the mantras was, infinite intelligence, show me the way to the right, fill in the blank, I give thanks, it manifests in the perfect way. And then go control everything else you can. But you never want to clearly define the underline, like the blank, because it's probably going to be something bigger and better. Like if you're looking for a new house, show me the way to the right living situation. I give thanks, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be material like that. But I thought of that.
Although it's done. On top of it, to say that time is one, that it already exists, right? So that these future expectations are allowing it to come utilizing the law of gravity, Goya, and attraction in coherence with each other in order to get what I want. But I'll say it's already done, just to remind the universe, I know it's done. Just you'll bring it to me at the right time.
Yeah. Oh, this is so interesting. What's one lesson, David, that you find yourself learning over and over?
This might sound weird, but it's absolutely the need to be offended. I continually live, somehow I can't institute rule number 6 in my life, not to take myself so seriously, that I want to live unconditionally. And I work and strive to do the best I can to be kind and do as many good deeds. And yet my ego will at times be resentful and offended from the biggest people and the most important people in my life. And so I just keep learning it again and again, the amount of time, energy, and emotion I've wasted with the need to be offended. One thing I know about the need to be offended, which is even more frustrating for me, is that it's out of all the needs in the world. I always say that if the shortage of food that exists on Earth could be fed as fast as the need to be offended, we would be the fattest world in the world, because all you need to do is step off of your bed. And if you ever need to be offended, it will fill itself immediately. There's always something to offend you. So for me, that's the greatest lesson that I'm continually practicing to learn. I'd say about all the lessons, though, I'm in the practice of learning lessons. So my goal is less time so that I only spend minutes or moments in all the ego-based consciousness. And I keep reducing the amount of time that I'm not allowing things to happen. I'm not clearing the interference, the voids, the shortages. I know that I am connected to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons. And it's what I'm doing to create the interference, the voids, the shortages that I want to figure out with those lessons.
That's big. That's it right there. Last question here, and we'll wrap up. Actually, two more if you're going to give me the time. How do you invest in yourself, David?
So number one is taking inventory of your values and then making the investment towards those objectives. The what is so important to me. If you know your what, the why will always come. And people just, 99% of them, you ask them what they want to do, they don't know. What they want to eat, they don't know. What they want to order, they don't know. I spend every single day time taking inventory of my values in order to effectuate that.
And if we were to head back to 2009, you talked to Lee and you're like, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. And that moment, what would you tell yourself? You'd just gotten over this huge mountain of adversity that you turned into an asset, and you're headed off. What would you say to yourself?
I think I did say it every day. I am love. Like for me, I just kept, people laugh at you, scoff at you, make fun of you. And it wasn't just this move. It was a variety of things I did throughout my career. And I'd finally gotten to the point where, you know what? Eventually they applaud me. I'll figure this out. Because there's one thing that I had learned by that point in my own career and myself, that I have a desire that I must be what I can be. I have the poem 3 different places of don't quit all the time around me. And I know that if I am happy where I'm at the right place at the perfect time, and I do everything I can to angle to what I want, then I'm going to end up somewhere better. And so that's loving yourself. Learn to love me. And I can give what I have. So I am love, I am health, I am forgiveness, I am worthy. These are all things of mantras I use every day, not just because I want that or I want to clear that, but more importantly, I want to be able to give that. I want to be able to give love. I want to be able to give peace. I want to be able to give forgiveness. All of those things, you can't give what you don't have. And so I have reversed even to receiving. Real quickly, I have to end here, but the biggest shift money-wise was I was taught, many are, the more you give, the more you receive. And I shock people when I tell them I don't believe that at all. I believe that the more I receive, the more I can give. And with great intentions, I'm a bigger giver than anyone without the law of attraction in the precedent, meaning giving to receive is a trade. Giving to receive is a negotiation. Giving to receive is scarce. Receiving from an unlimited source of abundance, of a world of more than enough of everything for everyone, receiving from that and giving it all away through you with appreciation, gratitude, and your ability to add your values, that is abundance. That is love and peace. That is faith to me. And that shift in the paradigm, although at the surface, people are like, that guy he's not a philanthropist. He doesn't believe in giving to receive. You're right. I believe in receiving with an unlimited source and giving it all away to everyone else.
This has been like an incredible 34 minutes of coaching and therapy and mentorship and everything all mixed into one. So thank you for your time and wisdom. I really appreciate it. And I have pages of notes. So
well, remember, most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I do free trainings on every Friday. Reach out. Amy will give you all my contact information to get a hold of me. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the show. Hit me up on social media to let me know what you think. I'm at Amy Jo Martin on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I want to hear your Why Not Now moments so I can share them on the show. Just send me a note to whynotnow@amyjomartin.com. For show notes and other offers, you can visit amyjomartin.com/whynotnow. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for my email newsletter for exclusive content and announcements. A big thanks to Rock Salt Music for all of the tunes by the talented John Coggins, and of course a hat tip to Richard Brewer for editing and producing the show. I'll see you next time, and until then, why not now?